Alright, hey, I'm Dan. This video is going to be about gear for endurance sports, specifically running and ultra endurance cycling. And this video is going to be a little bit different than most YouTube videos that talk about the best gear, reviews, and maybe the best discounts that you can find online. What I want to talk about is possibly keeping what you want from gear in check and actually analyzing why we like gear so much, and sometimes it going overboard with it, just like I just did. So what sprung this idea on for me is basically I spent the last 2 hours online looking up gear for ultra running, really trail running. So I was looking at packs, waist belts, water bottles, headlamps, running shoes, shorts, rain jackets, all that stuff. And I kept looking more and more, deeper and deeper into it. And in the end, I ended up just kind of feeling crappy about myself. Just like, why did I just look up so much stuff, right? Like, and don't get me wrong, like, this is not a video saying like you shouldn't care about gear at all. Like, you definitely should. You definitely need the basics. So I ended up writing down a couple points, just asking myself, what is the point of gear? Like, what is it? What is the actual purpose of it? And why we actually need it? And how much do we actually need? And then, as humans, especially in a materialistic world, do we take that too far? And what happens to our brains when we take it too far? Why do we do that? What do we think the gear is actually going to give us? And then basically my third point is just going to be about rounding it all together and focusing what we should actually focus on when it comes to the sports that we like. So first thing, why we need gear. So the real reason why we need gear is to get our basics covered. It's for safety, it's for comfort, it's for warmth. You need the basics. So for ultra running, you obviously need shorts, shirt, shoes, right? And if you're going to go into worse weather, you're going to need, a base layer maybe, or a rain jacket in case there's storms. And if you're doing long trail rides, you're going to need maybe a pack with some water that can hold your fuel, your phone for safety. And these are the basics that you need. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going out there. But when you start pushing into like, what's the best gear? Well, is this pack better than that? Like, if you already have a pack and every year you buy a new pack, why do you think you need that pack? Is it just because there's a new, pocket on this side that's a little bit bigger? Like, it's really interesting because if we allow our brains to keep going with it, we'll never be satisfied with the gear. Really, there's always going to be something new, there's always going to be something better that you can just buy another thing. And that's really what it comes down to our world with materialistic things. And we're definitely, coaxed into this idea because people are trying to buy or sell things to us all the time, right? So if you're not aware of that, you can really get wrapped around into it, and it's really hard to pick up what's going on if it's about something that you really like, And I know there's lots of arguments talking about how, it's okay to buy things for things that you actually like. You shouldn't maybe blow your money on things that don't matter, but if there's something that you enjoy, spend your money and enjoy it. And definitely endurance running, endurance cycling, those are great things to spend your money on. It's going to make you healthy. You're going to get it outside. You're going to be in the nature. You're going to be around people. It's a great thing to get into. So it's definitely a great thing to spend your money. But why do we want to buy all this gear? And sometimes when you go overboard, the reason why you're buying the gear, I think, is it's not about the warmth, the comfort, and the safety. It's about thinking you're going to enjoy the sport more, or thinking that you're going to get faster or more fit, or maybe you're going to be even, more comfortable than what you were going to be. But all these things, definitely a big one is you're going to enjoy the sport more. But I don't think gear is going to make you enjoy the sport more. Yeah, it might make you, once you get your basics covered, is what I mean, and you're warm and you're comfortable, you're not going to enjoy the sport more just because you have new gear. You might be a little more inspired to get out there and run for the first couple weeks. Definitely if you spend a lot of money on a pack, you might be motivated to go out there and run a lot, but I really don't think that's a good reason to always keep buying gear, That's just like my attitude towards it, and I'm really bad for this. Like, this is not me preaching towards anything. It's just like I just went online for 2 hours and I just kept looking up stuff over and over. And I'm definitely someone that buys gear that think just to get into something. So keep in mind, the longest run I've ever done is 45 kilometers in a trail. So I'm looking up all this gear with the attitude of like, ooh, I want to do a 2-3 day run someday. And it's like, it's this attitude of thinking, if I buy this gear, then I'll get to have all these great experiences, you know? But I think what we should really focus on, or at least what I should focus on, is what can I do with the stuff I have right now? Am I even using them to their potential, or am I not? And I think, am I holding myself back until I get this thing? Or am I thinking about my future self, like, oh, when I get this gear, then I can become this great runner, or whatever. Like, another example is I was looking at a bunch of packs for ultra cycling, right? And I was thinking, oh, if I had all this gear, I could do a trip across Canada maybe, or something like that. But what am I doing right now with the stuff I have? You know, am I going and doing a couple day trips where I go and find a hotel and I just go for 100 kilometers, find a hotel for the night, and then go 100 kilometers back? I don't do that right now. So why don't I focus on the stuff I have and then try to find happiness within myself? Because I don't think you can buy happiness. You can't buy fitness. You can't buy, you know, more enjoyment for the sport that you're already doing. That's just a good thing to remember. So basically, I think what we should focus on is focus on running. Focus on enjoying being outside. If you're an ultra runner, focus on enjoying the trail. Not about how you wished you had this pack so you could go even longer. Go out there more with what you have. You don't need that much to go out and run 30, 40K. You know, a couple water bottles, a couple fuel packs, that's it. So enjoy the weather, enjoy the nature, enjoy being outside. The gear isn't going to actually make you that much happier. So I think we should try to fight back those urges to think, that's when I'll be happy, is when I get this stuff. Because it doesn't work like that. Because once you get that stuff, you're just going to want, maybe you're going to want a GoPro, or you're going to want something else or something new. So there's always something new you can get. That is not where the happiness is. It's always good to have gear, definitely get your basics covered. But I think as humans, we can definitely go overboard too. I certainly can. So hopefully you got something from this, and keep going after those goals.